to our press availability with Deputy Assistant Secretary and Special Envoy Gabrijela Eskobara. Before we get started with questions, I'll hand it over to Mr. Eskobara for a short opening statement.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. And I know we want to talk a lot about the current tension that's happening between Serbia and Kosovo. But I also want to let people know that my visit is not just about the crisis. I mean, we have a very deep relationship with Serbia, and there's a lot of positive elements still happening in that relationship. We're still very much interested in developing and deepening the bilateral relationship with Serbia. We're still very interested in all of the opportunities that that relationship can bring in terms of education, science, sports, and especially business. We are organizing a visit by the American Chamber of Commerce of Serbia to Washington, where we can explore ways to make the bilateral economic relationship more vital. So there's an awful lot to the relationship between the United States and Serbia and the United States and the rest of the region than just the current crisis. But I needed to make that clear because I think sometimes that aspect gets overlooked in all of this. And I'll stop there and open it up for questions.
Okay, we'll go to Katarina Sremčević from Beta.
Should I ask a few questions or one by one?
Let's start one by one, and then we'll come back for more questions.
When we were talking about the proposal that the European Union gave for the Kosovo and Serbia, what would be the consequences of not accepting it?
Well, look, the European Union, with the full support of the United States, has made it very clear that this is a European process. The dialogue and the mediation is a European process. Turning their back on the process would be turning their back on Europe, with all the consequences that it entails in the failure of closer integration and closer relationship with Europe. That by itself is a very serious consequence.
Ivana Šenjević, phone.
Hello.
Hi.
This morning we had a tweet from Whitejet. He said that President of Serbia said he was ready to contribute to this de-escalation situation. You made 3 requests to Prime Minister Kurti. Did you make any requests to President Vučić, and what was his response?
Well, look, the one is that we have to de-escalate the situation immediately. So that means that we are hoping that that mayors not try to use those buildings, that the Kosovo police be withdrawn from around the buildings, but we also want to make sure that protesters leave the area as well. Additionally, if there are new elections, and we hope there will be new elections, we want Serbs to participate without preconditions. And President Vučić said that he would use his influence to try to get Serbs to come back to elections.
We'll go to Feđa Grulović from Reuters.
Hi, is there any reply from Turkey? And, after yesterday, what are the concrete consequences that Kosovo will face in the case of, if it continues like this?
Well, look, I think the discussions between the government of Kosovo and the EU special rep are going to continue beyond his departure today from Belgrade. So I don't know if there has been a concrete response from the government of Kosovo yet. I hope that the government of Kosovo recognizes that what we're trying to achieve is a sustainable and mutually beneficial outcome for both countries. In terms of consequences, I've outlined one, which is that the European Union said turning its back on a European proposal is turning its back on Europe. But I have to emphasize that this is not just the European Union, but also the United Kingdom and the United States. And as friends of Kosovo, we are encouraging them to cooperate, to coordinate, and to align with our efforts to produce regional stability. Now, that partnership is open to Kosovo whenever it wants it. But at the same time, if they don't, they're taking a unilateral action, stepping back from their partnership with the transatlantic community. Now, that by itself is also a consequence.
Jelica Bušković, Tanjuk.
You said that the association will perform whether Turkey wants or not. What do you mean by that?
Well, look, I'm simply stating a fact. The association is a legal requirement for the government of Kosovo. It is in the Brussels Agreement. It is in the European Union, the European Council conclusions. It is in the Ohrid Agreement. And so it is not an agreement between Kurti and Serbia. It is an agreement between Kosovo and Serbia. So at some point, if Kosovo wants to move forward in its integration, in its Euro-Atlantic integration, it's going to have to form the association. So it will happen. The question is, will it happen with this government or a future government?
We'll open the floor to further questions. If anyone has.
Based on the meetings you had with Vučić and Kurti, is that a realistic scenario that they will accept what they gave to them?
I think it's early it's too early. It's very early in the process. I can say that I hope that they accept, and we will work hard to ensure the best possible outcome.
Yeah, I have another. You mentioned the Ohrid Agreement. What is going to be with the Ohrid Agreement? And you said maybe it's realistic that we have an agreement between Serbia and Kosovo by the end of this year. Do you think that this whole situation moved that deadline?
No. So the Ohrid Agreement is a very comprehensive and important agreement on normalization between Serbia and Kosovo. And it sets out a set of conditions that would create a peaceful and stable relationship between the two countries and outlines the responsibilities each one has. So that is valid. Now, accomplishing what they need to accomplish can be done very quickly, including an agreement on the association. So we still want to see the two parties come together and focus on the implementation plan and then focus on moving forward with the association. So I do still think that we can have all of the elements, most of the elements, accomplished this calendar year.
Can I have a follow-up?
Sure.
You said these three requests, also this election, new election. What is the time frame for that? Do you think by the, I don't know, mid-July there could be new elections, or maybe after?
I certainly don't want to wait until July. But beyond that, it's still a plan that's evolving.
What steps Serbia, if any, has to do, and is there any timeline for that?
With regard to the immediate plan for de-escalation or for
Generally,
Ohrid?
for negotiations, is there anything that is a problem that you're facing with the Serbian side?
Well, look, I do think that the biggest challenge for Serbia is to convince Serbs in Kosovo to return to the institutions. Now, that is one where I think we're aligned with Serbia. We have to make sure that those who do participate in elections and Serbs who do go back to the institutions are welcomed back.
If I may, not about that.
Yes, please.
We hear very often, especially from Mr. Kurti, that, about the Russian influence. He's repeating this
Yeah.
daily. Do you see any Russian influence? If yes, what specific?
I think Russia benefits from the divisions inside of Europe. I think Russia is not interested in seeing European Union enlargement. I think Russia uses the crisis in the region as a talking point that the West is failing. That said, what's happening in Kosovo right now is a long-standing, unaddressed problem between different groups. That was there before the current crisis in Ukraine, but the crisis in Ukraine makes it more important to be able to solve it. But it's not being generated, I don't think, entirely by Russia.
Chairman of Organization for Security and Cooperation gave also some recommendation for solving the crisis. Are you aware of that and your comments?
You're talking about the foreign minister of North Macedonia. North Macedonia was instrumental in helping us reach the Ohrid Agreement. And they have been a very good friend to both Serbia and to Kosovo. I've seen their proposals. The proposals are largely in line with the European proposals, and I do welcome North Macedonia's continued engagement with both parties. It's been very constructive.
Also, I have another one. You gave the deadline for Prime Minister Kurti of 2 days. Did you give some deadline for President Vučić?
I didn't give a deadline. So what I was asked in Pristina was, what were the next steps? And both Mr. Lajčák and I said that after this visit, I'm being asked by the White House on Friday to give an update as to what's happening. And I have to report as to whether we have progress or not. He has to go and report to Mr. Borrell to give the same assessment. So it's not a deadline, but that's the next step for me. And based on my report, we will make some decisions on moving forward. But it's not a deadline for anyone.
Any further questions? All right. Mr. Eskobara, if you'd like to make a short closing statement to wrap things up.
No, well, thank you for coming. I just want to say that the United States is committed to helping both Serbia and Kosovo resolve this crisis in a mutually beneficial way, and then to move forward on a common regional agenda that will benefit the Western Balkans and the people who live here along their path to European integration. There is so much potential in this part of the world. We can't lose sight of that fact, and we can't stop working toward making the Balkans what they can be, which is the fastest growing part of Europe, the most dynamic part of Europe, and a real contributor to regional security. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes today's